The night the Tropicana opened, a note was already being written that would bring the whole thing down. The FBI did not find it for another 20 years. April 4th, 1957. The Tropicana rises from the desert, its opening announced with the kind of fanfare reserved for royalty. Newspapers call it the most expensive casino Nevada has ever seen. $15 million were poured into marble floors, imported chandeliers, and a showroom built to rival anything on the Strip. The ads promise something different, the Tiffany of the Strip. Brochures gleam with images of champagne towers and chorus lines, each page stamped with the costliest branding money could buy. Behind the velvet ropes, construction stills capture the scale. Steel beams craned into place, a lobby so vast it dwarfs every guest. In the press kits, the Hollander agency boasts of a property that outshines every neighbor, a palace for visiting celebrities and high rollers alike. The opening night floor show is Folies Bergeret, flown in from Paris with 1,000 lights burning above the stage. Every detail, from the pool to the palm-lined entrance, is designed to signal legitimacy and luxury. But the numbers tell another story. $15 million in 1957 was an astronomical sum, far beyond what most legitimate investors would risk on a single property. The public face is all glamour, with Ben Jaffe as president, Julius Epstein as secretary, and Jerry McGinnis as vice president. But the true source of capital remained a question mark even as the first guests stepped onto the casino floor. In the eyes of the press, the Tropicana is the new crown jewel of Las Vegas. In the shadows, it's something else entirely. A folded slip of paper, recovered from Frank Costello's blood-stained coat in a Manhattan hospital, did what no casino brochure could. It put numbers to a rumor. The note, dated April 18th, 1957, listed 3 figures in a tight accountant's hand: $651,284 in gross receipts, $30,000 set aside as a kickback, $9,000 earmarked for security. The FBI's domestic investigation summary, filed weeks later, referenced this document as evidence of criminal seed money behind the Tropicana's opening. In the aftermath of the assassination attempt on Costello, the note's contents moved quickly from law enforcement to the Nevada Gaming Control Board. Board minutes from April 27th to record the moment the figures were read aloud, each line confirming what regulators had long suspected. The Tropicana's capital was not clean. The fallout was immediate. By May 2nd, the board issued a formal notice of irregular ownership to the casino licensee, demanding a purge of undisclosed interests. Within days, Jacob Phil Castell, the frontman named in both incorporation documents and FBI memos, was summoned for questioning. Castell's resignation letter, dated May 15th, cites personal reasons, but the board's own records make clear the decision was forced. The June 1st order of license revocation spells out the charge: material concealment of mob ownership and evidence of a covert skimming arrangement. Newspaper headlines followed the paper trail. The Las Vegas Review-Journal called it the first time a casino executive had been stripped of his license for ties to organized crime. The board's special examination report, filed July 12th, drew a direct line from the coat note to the casino's front office, stating the Tropicana's ownership was materially concealed and recommending a permanent ban. The numbers on that slip of paper, once hidden in a mobster's pocket, had become the state's first concrete proof that the Strip's newest palace was built on criminal foundations. Inside the Tropicana's count room, the theft was not a matter of brute force or violence. It was a matter of routine, of paperwork, signatures, and a process engineered to look legitimate on every ledger. Each night as the casino floor quieted, 2 sealed pouches would be prepared. The first, marked and logged, moved through the official channels, counted, signed off, and entered into the casino's night audit as the full take for the evening. The second, identical in appearance but never recorded, was handed off by a supervisor to a trusted employee. This pouch bypassed the books entirely, vanishing before the security patrol made its rounds. The system relied on precision. The official count matched the ledgers, while the missing cash was masked by inflating entertainment payouts and show payrolls. The entertainment ledger would show a sudden bump, extra payments routed to the Folies Bergeret cast or stagehands, expenses that never reached their intended recipients. These phantom entries balanced the books on paper, while the real money moved out the back door. Casino standard operating procedures required dual verification in sealed bags, but the very people entrusted to enforce these rules were the ones orchestrating the diversion. Audits seized years later revealed discrepancies in the entertainment payroll, amounts that lined up almost dollar for dollar, with the sums later traced to organized crime accounts. The theft was not a single event, but a nightly ritual, executed with the kind of discipline that left regulators chasing shadows. The count room was the heart of the operation, quiet, methodical, and utterly compromised. Cash didn't linger in the Tropicana's count room. Once the second pouch slipped out, the operation shifted from local theft to a national relay. Couriers, some with clean records, others with mob ties, moved the money through a chain of front companies. Names like Tropicana Transport Services and Desert Logistics printed on the manifests. Each company held just enough paperwork to pass a background check, but not enough to reveal real control. Sealed metal boxes labeled as routine bank deposits vanished into the trunk of an unmarked car or the back of an armored truck. The route stretched beyond Nevada's borders, following interstate highways east, Interstate 15 to Barstow, Interstate 70 to Denver, Interstate 80 toward Chicago. Each leg had its own handler, each with a signature on the manifest. Augusto, Thomas, sometimes just initials. The shipments bypassed casino security and state auditors, heading for drop points in Chicago, Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. The real ownership stayed buried under layers of deception. The majority block of Tropicana stock sat in the name of a chemical industry heiress who never saw the inside of a count room. Her signature appeared on shareholder reports, but the day-to-day control belonged to men she never met. Wiretap transcripts would later catch Carl Thomas explaining to a Chicago associate, "She holds the paper, we hold the keys." The scale of the operation turned a local skim into an interstate conspiracy. Each route, each shell company, each courier was another strand in a web designed to keep the true beneficiaries out of reach. 4 crime families, 1 count room, and the FBI was about to hit record. Don't go anywhere. Wiretaps went live in the summer of 1977. The operation was named Strawman, and its mandate was simple: catch the men in the act. Special Agent William Owsley, working out of the Kansas City field office, signed the warrant affidavits that set the plan in motion. Federal teams laced payphones, restaurant booths, and backroom bars with microphones, tracking calls between Kansas City, Chicago, and Las Vegas. The bugs captured the language of the skim in real time, coded references, nervous laughter, and sometimes open confession. On one tape, Nick Savella's voice cuts through the static. He says, "We own the joint, we just do not sign the checks." Every hour of tape became evidence. Owsley's team logged conversations about cash pickups, courier schedules, and the need to keep the chemical heiress in the dark. Agents built a timeline from these recordings, matching names to faces and voices to roles. Each transcript, each phone call added another thread to the case file. By the end of 1977, the surveillance net of the FBI had mapped the Tropicana's hidden command structure in detail, enough to bring the conspiracy into open court. The courtroom became a ledger of confessions. Joe Augusto took the stand first, his voice flat as he named the men who ordered the count room skim and the couriers who moved casino cash across state lines. His sworn testimony ran through the scheme step by step: the hidden pouches, the payroll cover-ups, the shipments east. Next came Carl Thomas, the former Tropicana executive. Under oath, Thomas admitted to more than a decade of nightly theft, describing in detail how the official count was always just a little short. He named his co-conspirators, recited amounts, and confirmed the wiretap conversations that had captured the mob's coded language. Federal prosecutors laid out the evidence, the tapes, the audit trails, and the courier manifests until the jury delivered its verdict. In June 1981, the court convicted Augusto, Thomas, and the Kansas City, Chicago, and Milwaukee bosses on racketeering and conspiracy charges. Sentences ran as high as 20 years. The Nevada Gaming Control Board responded by revoking the Tropicana's license, stripping the property from mob control. The operation that once siphoned millions in silence ended in a flood of sworn admissions and prison terms. The count room was emptied, the doors locked, and the era of untouchable skimming closed with a judge's gavel. Today, the Tropicana's ashes settle over a city built on controlled illusions. Federal files prove that corruption thrives where oversight blinks. As new towers rise, the blueprint for infiltration remains unchanged. Only the names at the door differ. In Las Vegas, shadows still wager against the light. Share your thoughts below.